Hi, everybody. Dr. Warren here, and I want to go into the week 4 presentation that you'll be doing in the discussion board 2 of this class 7120. And let's dig in, okay? So what are we after with this presentation? It will be a presentation on a topic of interest to you, and hopefully it will be your dissertation interest. So we're really trying to get you started in thinking about your dissertation topic, starting early and finding resources and research on your topic. And this is going to give you a good step up as you start moving on through the program and into your dissertation, okay? So it's going to be a narrated slideshow. So basically you're going to have a PowerPoint and you're going to be speaking to it as if you're presenting to an audience, which you are. So this will be an electronic presentation in PowerPoint. You will be speaking to each slide as if you're presenting on a stage, okay? And again, this will happen in week 4 discussion board 2. So what are we looking for in your presentation? Again, we want a description of this issue, hopefully around your dissertation interest. Who are the populations impacted by this? So for example, if you're talking about bullying, you know, you're talking about children who are being bullied, but what's the age group that you're thinking about? Is it high school kids? Is it children with disabilities, people with disabilities who are being bullied? Who are those people impacted? And then who are the stakeholders? The teachers, the schools, the principals, all the parents, all those people are involved in this bullying issue. And even governments, maybe regulators who are writing policies around bullying, but particularly the schools, the teachers, and the administrators are very much involved in this bullying. They're the stakeholders, you would say, in the bullying in schools problem, okay? So then you want to talk about kind of what are the arguments and perspectives of those stakeholders. The teachers say this, they say, we haven't been trained in how to address bullying. That's the principal's job. My job is to send to the principal. And the principals are saying, well, actually, the teachers, you should be the first line of defense for these victims, these bullying victims. So do you see how these arguments start to play out, okay? And this is part of the research that you're going to be doing and that we want to learn about. We want to learn about this topic from you. This topic that is of great passion and interest to you. Tell us about it, okay? And so these are the guidelines to help you bring out your story around your topic, okay? So we also want you to do find an article that is actually an academic research. They had a group of students who were being bullied, and they did a research on them. If it was a qualitative research, which means that the people are telling the stories, it's not a statistical research, qualitative research. So maybe it was a qualitative research in which they talked to the teachers and said, do you feel like you're well trained to handle bullying? What are the types of bullying you're seeing on campus, et cetera, right? So that would be an example of a qualitative study. What did you find? They interviewed teachers and they found this, this, and this. If it's a quantitative study, which means statistical, maybe they're looking at a training that was done for teachers on bullying, and then they're looking at the numbers of bullying incidents on campus before and after that training took place, right? So that would be kind of an example of a statistical research article. Okay, so pick one and tell us about it, and you're going to tell us about that in week 3. Okay, then you're going to talk about how this issue impacts the field of education. How is bullying impacting education? It's making it hard for kids to go to school kids who are at risk, right? Our kids who are being bullied, they don't want to come to school. Affects the quality of the schools, affects the culture of the schools. So do you talk about that, right? And then what is your personal perspective? What are things that you would like to see done? What are things that you want to see happen around bullying in schools? And then of course, you want to have your reference section. So I use the example of bullying. Obviously, you're not going to use that unless that is your topic of interest. But you're going to kind of follow these steps to get there in your presentation, okay? So now let's talk about, so in the format, you're going to have 6 to 10 scholarly sources. Your narrated presentation is going to be 4 to 6 minutes long, okay? And actually just for viewing, let's get rid of that. And it will be a narrated PowerPoint video. What does that mean? It means you're going to have your PowerPoint on the screen and you're going to record your voice talking to each slide, just like what I'm doing right now, just like I'm doing here. And there's different tools that you can use to record. And I've got a tutorial on the next slide. I've got a bunch of tutorials for you to practice. And if you want to get started now practicing recording, and then what you do is then in PowerPoint, there's a way to publish it to a video. Those tutorials show you how. And then you can upload it into YouTube or upload it into some video presentation tool that you may have. And there's options there. So let's get into that actually right now. Okay, so we've got this quick little overview on how to make a PowerPoint, narrated PowerPoint video. And then there's a longer, more detailed version here. But there's other tools. You can use Screencast-O-Matic. And if you use Screencast-O-Matic to record your PowerPoint, then they offer a tool where they will store it for you in the cloud, and then you just get the link from the Screencast-O-Matic. You don't have to upload it to YouTube. They will store it for you. You get that link, and you're going to put it into the week 4 PowerPoint, week 4 discussion board, okay? So there's lots of options, and then here's a tutorial for how to upload a video to YouTube. So you might want to play around with this a little bit in the next few weeks and get comfortable with coming up with a solution for how you're going to capture your presentation for week 4. So if we talk about what's going to happen in weeks 1 through 3, you're going to, in week 1, there's that learning activity board, and you're going to hone your topic idea with your peers and your instructor giving you feedback and helping you get really narrow and focused on that topic that you want to present in week 4. Remember, it's, how many slides did I say? Let's go back and figure out how many slides did I say. 6 to 10 scholarly sources, 4 to 6 minutes long. And actually, I'll go into the number of slides in just a second. It's only like 8 slides, okay? So not a big deal, but you're getting some practice with really digging into your topic and practice presenting on your topic, okay? All right, so week 1, we're gonna hone your idea. Week 2, you're gonna go find, I'm gonna actually say 2 articles that you'll be using in your presentation. Remember, you have to have 6 to 10 at the end. So go find 2 articles. Tell us the details about those articles, okay? So tell us about the article and the authors. Who are the people involved in this article? What are the issues and concerns addressed? And what are recommendations for solutions or next steps? Basically, detail those articles for us, okay? 2 articles, all right? In week 3, you're going to go find that research article. Again, remember the quantitative or the qualitative. And you're going to go into the details of who was the population that was studied? What was the issue researched? What's the methodology? Was it quantitative, qualitative? What did they do in their study? How did that study happen? How did it come to be? And then what were the conclusions or findings? What did they find out? And then what were recommendations for future researchers? What are questions that future researchers can answer, okay? All right, so that said, I have templates for your slideshow that you can use. You can actually just copy these templates and use them for your slideshow as is, and just enter your own information if you want to. And remember, when you narrate, you can add notes. You can actually, you know, narration here. You can just kind of word for word, verbatim put your narration in the notes, or you can just put some key points that you want to be sure to address here in the notes, and those will show up when you do your presentation, okay? And it's not a big deal if they end up showing up in your final video, your notes. It's okay, okay? So don't worry about that. We're really just trying to help you develop skills in presenting, okay? All right, you're going to start out with the title of your presentation, your name, your date, class number, etc. All right, first slide. Then you're going to talk about the issue and your population. What are the education sectors? Is it higher ed? Is it K-12? Is it corporate training, military, hospital? What, okay? Is it mentor, one-on-one, coaching situation, counseling? Lots of options here. Don't feel like you have to be stuck in K-12 or higher ed, okay? Who are the populations? What are the demographics and characteristics? Is it immigrant children, don't speak English, parents are in the country illegally? Just get really rich with your descriptions of your populations. Who are they? Give us that really clear idea of who specifically your population is in the state of Mississippi, et cetera, okay? Okay, so then we want to go into the stakeholders. Who else is involved in this? If it's immigrant population, maybe you've got ICE involved, or you've got, the politicians involved, or you've got the community involved. Maybe there's detention centers in the community, and the community is not happy about it, or the community is volunteering, or whatever, right? And so, what are the perspectives of these stakeholders who are also involved in that issue? And then what are the opposing? I want to hear about some opposing interests. So you've got, the immigration department with these, here's what our job is. And then you've got the volunteers who are saying, you're not taking good care of the immigrants. So there's, what are those opposing stakeholder interests and arguments? Okay. Again, one academic study. Describe the study briefly. What was the purpose of it? You can find that usually in the abstracts. What is the methodology? How did they go about that study? How many people were involved? Who were the people involved? What did they do? Did they interview? Did they have something where they did a pre and post, where they asked him questions at the beginning, they had a training, and then they asked him questions at the end? Did they use surveys? So talk about that. What did they discover? What did they learn from their study? What were the recommendations from that study, right? And also I'm going to add one more. What are suggestions for future research? Okay, what else do they they always end. This is, you guys, this is really important. Suggestions for future research. If you're looking at a study and it's right around something that you want to research, you can go down and look at those suggestions for future research. And if they say, we suggest that you conduct this exact same study on a population in another community, well, there's an idea for you for your dissertation. Look at those suggestions for future research and say, hey, do I want to do my dissertation around that suggestion? Okay, so that's a little tip for you. Okay, all right, and then what are the impacts and conclusions? Kind of wrap up what you've learned. What do you think needs to happen now? What's your personal perspective? What do you hope happens? What would you like to see happen? What do you think would be the outcomes if your ideas did come true? Your hopes, okay, hopes and dreams. All right, and then of course the references section. So now, again, you can use this slideshow template from slide 7 all the way to the end. You can simply copy all those and create a new slideshow and paste them all right there. Oops, hold on. Paste them all right there, and you will have the template for your slideshow. And of course, get rid of all my stuff. I don't want to see that, but keep the headers. So get rid of what I've got in here and keep the headers. These are simply clues for you for what we want to see on this slide, but definitely just get rid of that so that you can go ahead and talk about it on your own. All right. So I hope that's helpful. There's a lot. It's a big deal. It's a presentation, but not that big a deal. It's something you should start to become comfortable doing as a doctoral student. And I look forward to hearing from you with questions and requests for clarification. And I'm here, so contact me anytime. Thanks.